Want to say how much I appreciate everybody's feedback and kind words on my latest song, Monday Night War. A song for wrestling fans, and in particular wrestling fans from a very specific era in the 90s where there was a thing quite literally called the Monday Night War. A Monday Night War between two rival wrestling organizations. If you know, you know. I've gotten to talk on a couple of wrestling podcasts about the song. There's even one podcast out there that has made it their theme song for when the episode starts. And I've gotten a lot of cool interactions on TikTok and things like that because of the song. And I appreciate everybody who has had kind words to say. Wanted to tell real quick how the song came to be. There is a guy named John LaJoy, I think is how you pronounce his name, and he does comedy. But earlier this year, he put out a song on his Twitter that he had written about the moment when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant. If you haven't heard it yet, you really need to go listen to it. I think it's on all streaming platforms, but it was about that moment of when Hogan body slammed Andre and how much that meant to him as a kid. And when I heard it, I will admit, Hogan body slamming Andre, that was a little before my time. I was not in the world yet, but the song was great, and I shared it on my Twitter, and I just put the caption that, you know, this is awesome, and someday I might write a song about the moment Stone Cold drove a beer truck to the ring for my generation. And I meant it as a joke, like it was not something that I was actually planning on doing, but the more I thought about it, I was like, man, that was such a special time, and to see the way that John's song resonated, I was like, I'm going to try to do that for my generation. And this was not a hard song to write at all. I can't remember my own name most days, but I can remember very specific things that happened in the Monday Night War and all throughout wrestling history. I'm still a huge wrestling fan to this day. I still watch every week, so I am very much a wrestling historian and also a current wrestling fan. And so I just wanted to be very conversational and talk about very specific things that happened. Some of those key moments. Goldberg beating Hulk Hogan in the Georgia Dome for the title. We all remember that. Anybody that was watching at that time, you remember when that happened. You remember when The Undertaker's brother Kane debuted. You remember when the NWO formed. You remember when DX drove a tank to the door of WCW. Like, for real. You remember what happened in Montreal. You remember all of that stuff. And so I wanted to try to tap into just that nostalgia and beauty of that time period and where it felt like every week something crazy was going on wrestling. And I wanted to just specify what those things were. I wanted to call it like I saw it, you know. Don't leave it up for mystery. Tell what happened. Tell about Jim Ross and how awesome he was. Talk about the People's Elbow. Talk about, the Horsemen bringing back Flair and we went nuts. Fire me! I'm already fired. Talk about all of that stuff. And wanted the song to have a very nostalgic feel. Kind of patterned it after Baba O'Reilly by The Who. Kind of patterned it after that. Just kind of a very, 90s feel to it. And I got to give a shout out to my buddy Trevor Willoughby, who knows nothing about wrestling, by the way. He helped me produce this song, and he knows nothing about wrestling. He had no idea what I was talking about in the song, but he somehow captured the feel and did a great job putting it together. And I had so much fun putting together the lyric video and stuff for it because I just went and was able to get all these photos and videos from that time in wrestling and went back and found some old pictures of myself as a kid in my Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt, opening Christmas gifts, action figures of Sting and Stone Cold and all that stuff. And it was so much fun to write it, to put it together, and to share it with all of you. Didn't know if it would reach the target audience, but so far I've heard from so many, whether they're still wrestling fans today or maybe they don't watch anymore, but they remember back from the 90s, they remember all of that stuff that happened. I've been reached out to by so many people, and honestly, so many people who have reached out and let me know that this song made them emotional. It made them cry when they heard it, and that was kind of what I loved about John LaJoy's song about Hogan and Andre is that it went from being just a simple song about that moment to at the end, he wrapped it up in a very sentimental bow. And it made you actually feel something, and that's what music's supposed to do. And so to be able to talk about some of the wrestling legends that we've lost, such as Scott Hall and Chyna and Eddie Guerrero and Owen Hart, and there's so many more, but to be able to reference them and talk about how those memories of watching when we were younger, it's more than just remembering good moments from wrestling, but, you know, it helps us get through the hard times now. It puts a smile on our face when we think of it to this day. And so I was glad to be able to wrap that up at the end and make it mean something more than just, hey, remember when this happened? It was like, no, of course we remember when. And the memories are special to us, and it helps us on hard days when we get through hard times, especially now with things like the streaming services where you can actually go back and watch all of this stuff. So once again, I appreciate everyone's kind words and what everybody has reached out about the song. I appreciate everybody so much. And if you haven't yet, if you're a wrestling fan and you haven't heard the song especially, go check it out. The song's called Monday Night War. It is available everywhere. Thank you guys so much. Bye.
If I close my eyes, I can still see the night that Goldberg beat Hogan in the Dome. And I didn't know what to do when I found out it was true. Undertaker had a brother all along. The Horsemen brought back Ric Flair, and he nearly lost his mind. And everyone changed the channel to Raw when Rock lost to Mankind. An outsider invasion was started by Scott Hall, and Shawn put Bret in his own move one night in Montreal. And Stone Cold drove a beer truck to the ring, and WCW's only hope was Sting. The people's elbow in the NWO, and DX drove a tank to Nitro's door. My childhood was defined by the Monday Night War. Life goes by fast, and you're grown before you know it. So many legends have left us, like Chyna, Eddie, and Owen. But even though I'm older now, the memories bring a smile. And when a hard day comes my way, my mind just hits rewind. To when Stone Cold drove a beer